Hello friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Danny and today it is time for me to announce Bucket Listathon 2.0. Around this time last year, I hosted my very first readathon, which was called Bucket Listathon. It was a readathon that comprised of two lists that you could choose from. One was easy mode, one was hard mode, and you could pick and choose from both lists or do one or the other. And the goal of the readathon is for you to accomplish your end of year goals. So it's supposed to be non-competitive, go at your own pace, and I want you guys to use it as an excuse to achieve your goals. Something to maybe motivate you to do those things that at the beginning of the year you told yourself you were going to do. I will be hosting Bucket Listathon again this year, so Bucket Listathon 2.0, there are some changes that I've made. We no longer have checklists. We now have a game board. So I am really excited to introduce that to you today. I will be going through the rules of the game, the prompts. I will also talk about some various things about the game board that you need to be aware of, as well as the access to the Discord and official sprints throughout the month and things like that. So I have timestamps down below if you are only interested in certain components of that. Everything that I'm going to tell you in this video is available in the Discord, so if you would rather just read it instead of have me tell you, that's perfectly fine as well. First and foremost, the dates for this readathon, the official dates are from November 15th to December 15th. I wanted to spread this into 2 months. One, because of the holidays, another because Battle of the Booktubers ends on November 2nd. So I wanted to give myself a little bit of a brief reprieve before starting a readathon. But also I wanted to allow you guys, if you would like to stretch this into 2 months. So if you want to start November 1st and end December 31st, that's absolutely fine with me. Just know that the official sprints, the official dates of the readathon are from November 15th to December 15th. But if you guys want to use this for the entire 2 months, I am perfectly happy with that. I will be on the Discord during those times. It's just the sprinters that I have asked to join the readathon are only going to be officially sprinting from November 15th to December 15th. I have asked 9 other people, including myself, so you have 10 official sprinters this month. I'm calling us the Bucketeers. And so we are going to help you achieve your bucket list this year. I have asked all of the official sprinters to sprint at least one time within the months or within the days of November 15th to December 15th. And so all of the sprint links, how to access their sprints, their channel names, and everything will be on the Discord available for you guys. I will also post weekly a list or a schedule of sprints so you know who is sprinting when. They can sprint more than once, but all of these people will at least have one sprint throughout that time that you guys can join them. Our official Bucketeers for this readathon are Mary from the Pumpkin Files, Lotta from Lotta's Nook, Leandra from Leandra the TBR Zero, Julie with Keep Calm with Books and Coffee, Rainy from Rainy Blue Reads, Bree from Four Paws in a Book, Abby from Pink Beauty XX, Krista from Books and Jams, and Jess from the Hex Library. And then of course, yours truly here at Danni.Dabbles. If you are not subscribed to these lovely people, please go and do that. I will have all of their information linked in the description down below as well. Secondly, please be aware that this is supposed to be a game board for you, a readathon for you. I want you guys to get as much out of this as you possibly can. I am not going to be policing prompts or telling you that you can't read something for, a said prompt, or that you can't go off on your own little tangent and not necessarily use my rules that I'm creating for the game. So feel free to make this your own, but I have provided rules and some goals for you to finish the game if you do so choose. Thirdly, there is a Discord, as I've been stating, and I will link that down below if you guys would like to join for this readathon. This is where you will have access to all of the graphics, including the game board, the color counter, and the rule sheet, as well as the cards that you can print if you so choose to do so while playing, and also a community of individuals who will be talking about the books that they're reading, the goals they're accomplishing throughout the month. I know it will be a fun time, and I'm really looking forward to it. You will also find a sign-up sheet below that I request that you guys fill out, just so I have appropriate numbers to figure out who's all participating in this. I am going to give you guys some stats at the end of the readathon, so that's my starting point for collecting data on how many people are in this readathon. There is also in the Discord a link to a book submission form. I am not going to be calculating or accumulating points for the readathon because this is not a competitive readathon. It's definitely work at your own pace. But once again, this does allow me to give you guys some fun stats at the end. So without further ado, let's introduce you to the game board. I am really excited about this. I had a lot of fun making this and coming up with the prompts and making a game into the checklists essentially that I created last year. It definitely has a lot more components. So I am going to go through those. The prompts I will do at the end, but right now I'm just going to tell you how to play. First, you have to pick a corner. So you can see that there are 4 corners of the game board. You have series, new release, physical TBR, and life. And this is essentially you picking what goal you want to focus on. This does not mean that every single book you pick up this month has to be focused on those things. It just means that you're kind of putting in your mind that this is my ultimate goal. This is the priority that I'm going to make for this readathon. And you can see that all of the prompts surrounding each of those corners pertains to that particular goal. If you choose series, this could mean that you want to complete series. Maybe you have too many series open. Talking to myself here. If you choose new releases, this means you want to focus on getting those 2024 releases that you haven't read yet. This could also be NetGalley arcs if you have a lot of 2024 NetGalley arcs on your list, or even 2025 NetGalley arcs that you want to focus on this month. And then physical TBR, we all know that book lovers love to collect books, and so sometimes our collections get a little out of hand and we want to be reading from our shelves. So maybe that's your intention for this readathon. And then of course, life mode is if you just want a breather and you want to be able to just sit back and relax at the end of the year and enjoy a community of people who love books, maybe read some books when you have a moment, but also just breathe. That's going to be the corner for you. The next thing that you guys are going to have to do is pick a mode. Do you want to play on hard mode or do you want to play on easy mode? And so I'm going to come back to the game board in just a minute. I'm going to put up a graphic of the rules for each mode. So you can see that depending on what you pick is going to depend on what you accomplish or what you have to accomplish to end the game. So in the game board, there is not a finish line, like you're not rolling to get to a certain place in the board. You have to fulfill these items in either easy mode or hard mode in order to finish the game. So if you choose hard mode, you must roll a die 10 times. And you can choose what type of die. I designed this game for a 6-sided die, but if you would like to use a D20, feel free, that's up to you. You also have to reach all 4 corners. This is the part where I said I've arranged this for a 6-sided die, but if you use a side 20, I mean, once again, I'm not going to police this. You do you. So hard mode, you do have to reach all 4 corners. I do not care if you land on all 4 corners as long as you pass all 4 corners. And then this is the part for hard mode that the corner that you pick is really important. So 50% of your reads that you choose throughout this readathon need to pertain to that goal. So for me, I probably am going to be choosing series because I have a ton of open series right now. And so that means 50% of the books that I pick up throughout need to pertain to continuing a series. If you choose physical TBR, clearly they need to be physical TBR books. If you choose new releases, they need to be new releases. If you choose life mode, choose 50% of the books that you're picking that are going to help you do whatever you would like to do, whether or not it's relaxation, if it's self-help, if it's nonfiction because you're wanting to learn about certain things. Maybe you're in school and so you're studying for a test or something. I mean, that counts too. So you could have 50% of your reads just pertaining to life goals. You can even, you'll notice whenever I go through the prompts that if you choose life mode, some of the prompts that I've made, you can actually not make them book related and make them life related. So then maybe if you roll 10 times, you are trying to make 50% of the prompts related to things you want to do in life, not necessarily reading. And then you noticed on the game board, there are different colored boxes, blocks that you are landing on. With hard mode, if a color repeats 3 times, you have to add an additional roll. So for every color that repeats 3 times, that's when you have your additional roll. For easy mode, you roll 5 times. You have 2 corners that you have to visit. I don't care which ones. And then if a color repeats twice, you have to roll an additional roll. The reason that for easy mode, it's if a color repeats twice, in hard mode, it's if a color repeats 3 times, is because the hard rolls, they have to roll 10 times, and easy mode has to roll 5. This last rule for both hard mode and easy mode, I have created a graphic to help you guys. So this is the color counter that you can print, or you can keep track of it another way, but I just wanted to provide you guys with an option that you can kind of go through and circle, okay, I've landed on the dark red 1 time, and so on and so forth, to keep track of how many times and whether or not you have to roll additionally. So going back to the game board, you now know that in order to play, you have to pick a corner and then you have to pick a mode to play. And then that's pretty much it. But you'll notice that there are places on this game board for cards. You have your must-read cards and your community cards. And this is where you can really make this game yours. You can create prompts for each of these cards. I also have a graphic where you can print out and cut out little cards for the game board. All of these are meant to be printed on a normal printer that's 8.5 by 11, so it can be printed on a normal sheet of paper, but you know, feel free to print it larger if you would like to, and you can cut out the cards right on the back of them. That way, when you land on that particular spot in the game board, you just draw a card. Your must-read cards, those need to be filled out with books that you want to read by the end of the year. It can pertain to the corner that you've chosen, or it can just be a book that you are desperate to read. The community cards are meant to do something within your community. That can be with your physical community or within the booktube community or another community that you are a part of. Once again, I want you guys to make it yours. My focus is going to be on booktube because you guys are a big part of my life. And so some of the prompts, and I did put this on the rule sheet if you guys want some suggested community prompts, I put support a booktube noob. This was one of the things I had the Bucket Listathoners do last year, and I really enjoyed it. Going and seeing you guys comment on the booktube newbie tag, or just finding booktube newbies and talking to them in the comments. I absolutely loved it. It's also how I found some of the Battle of the Booktuber people that participated this year, and so I wanted to bring that back. Some other suggested prompts are participate in sprints. So this could be participating on someone else's channel or pulling someone onto yours. Buddy read with someone new. Watch your YouTube backlist. I'm looking at myself with that example. Post about your favorite booktuber. So if you are not a booktuber, or even if you are, you can post on a different social media platform, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. Or if you have a booktube channel, you can post on your booktube about your favorite booktuber. And share a book recommendation, which you can do in the Discord. There's going to be a specific channel for book recommendations, and so you could put that in your community channel as well. You can make this your own. So if you really have a passion for doing something within your physical community as well, maybe you are going to volunteer at a shelter, maybe you are going to volunteer at Harvesters, or you know, whatever you do or whatever you would like to do to help out your physical community, put those on those community cards. So lastly, to go through the prompts with you guys, I'll start in the corner for series. So we have finish a series, so it needs to be a book at the end of a series. The TBR book is the must read, so you have to pull a card for that. Continue a favorite. I intended this to be continuing a favorite series. However, if you are not focusing on series, you could also make this into continue a favorite author. An intimidating read is just something that's intimidating to you. It doesn't have to match certain qualifiers to be considered intimidating. And then a buddy read. You can buddy read with someone in the Discord. You can buddy read with, if I am reading a specific book this month and you know that I am and you want to read that as well, and then chat with me in the Discord about it, that works too. Or of course, within your physical life, your real life is what I want to call it. You can also buddy read with someone there. Backlist is going to be a book from an author that you have read before, so go back to an author that you've loved and pick up one of their books that you haven't read yet. The little house is the community card, so you would pull a community card for that. 5-star, you can do a 5-star prediction, or if you are focusing on rereads, maybe you could do a 5-star reread. End of year goal is definitely open to interpretation. Pick a book that fits to one of your end of year goals that you wanted to accomplish, whether or not that's your 24 in 2024 list, if you've made one, your most anticipated lists. This could also be adapted to the life mode if you are choosing the life corner. End of year goal could be something maybe you wanted to accomplish around the house, or maybe one of your end of year goals is to visit a friend that you haven't seen in a while. That works too. A comfort read is just that. Pick a book that you are comfortable with, that makes you have those cozy vibes. And then starting a series. This one is specific. You can start a series. And I put this on here because I love series and I want to finish series, but I also like starting series. And so I just had to have a prompt that maybe start a series. We also have a friend recommendation. So friend recommendations, if this is for life mode, so if you've chosen the life corner, you can make this a friend recommendation to something. So maybe your friend has recommended a local restaurant or a local coffee shop. That works. If you are doing this for reading purposes, it would be a book that is recommended by a friend, and those friends can be people in the Discord. So if you go to that little book recommendation tab and you want to read one of the books that was mentioned in there, that counts as a friend recommendation. A treat for you, this can be interpreted many ways. So if you are focused on reading, this could be a mood read, a book that you just have absolutely wanted to pick up and haven't had a reason to. This is that reason. This could also be, though, another treat. It could be a physical treat. Maybe you want to go to a coffee shop and get a coffee. Maybe you want to go out with a friend. Whatever you consider a treat. Maybe it's a night just relaxing and watching your favorite show. Treat yourself. Next, we have pick a corner. So with this prompt, I will explain what you are going to do when you land on a corner, as well as what the pick a corner means. So pick a corner just means you are going to move to one of the 4 corners. It does not matter which one. It does not have to be the one that you started with. You choose which corner do you want to move to. And that's where you would move your little, if you're going to play physically, like your little token or whatever that represents you. And if you land on a corner, what those corners are prompts. It's a multitude of prompts that deal with whatever you choose. So series, if you land on series, you are just reading from a series. You can start a series, you can finish a series, you can continue a series, you choose. And then if you land on physical TBR, you just have to read a physical TBR book. If you land on new releases, read a new release. If you land on life, or if you choose to move to life, you are just doing something that you would do in your normal everyday life, whether or not that's just relaxing on the couch, watching your favorite show. If that's going out with a friend, if that's going to get a coffee, you get to do something for life. You could also choose a mood read if you choose life, if that's something that you're wanting to read, but you don't necessarily want to read a series, a physical TBR, or a new release. Next, we have Last Chance. This is an author that you have read from before and you don't know if you want to continue with their works. You are going to read one more book of theirs and figure out whether or not that author's for you. This could also be if you have Soft DNF'd a book and you are not sure if you want to complete it, you could continue that Soft DNF and decide whether or not you want to DNF. A hyped read is a read that you have heard a lot about. I'm not going to say that you have to have heard about it on BookTube or Instagram, but just a book that you think is receiving a lot of hype. Goodreads nominee, you guys are choosing from the Goodreads Choice Awards. I absolutely love this prompt and I had to put it on here because I have fun with the Goodreads Choice Awards every year. This does not necessarily have to be from the Goodreads Choice Awards from 2024. If you guys wanted to go back in time and choose another book, that's perfectly fine. Next, we have Number Generator. So this you can kind of interpret in a whole bunch of different ways depending on what you're doing. If you are focusing on physical TBR, number your physical TBR, or at least a section of your physical TBR, and use a number generator to pick one of those books. If you're doing new releases, you can do the same thing with Goodreads. So maybe you have a list of your Goodreads new releases, or you just have a list on paper of your new releases that you want to get to. Use a number generator to pick which one. For series, same thing, have a list of series. And then for life, you could have like a list of things that you need to do around the house, or that maybe like fun things that you want to do, and comfort things that you want to do, self-help or self-care things that you want to do, and use a random number generator to figure out which one you're going to do. For new purchase, this can be interpreted a whole bunch of different ways. So you can use this prompt to buy a book if you want to, and then read that book. It can be in a series, new release, or physical TBR book. Physical TBR, if you're focusing on physical TBR, you are probably wanting to pick like your newest purchase on your shelves. That's what it was really intended for, is read a book on your physical TBR and maybe it meets some of the other qualifications. If you are using this as a life prompt and you're trying to focus on stuff that you want in your life, maybe there's something that you really need to purchase this month. And so that counts. Next, we have an old read. This could be an old read that's on your physical TBRs, maybe your oldest book on your physical TBR, the book that you've had the longest. This could be a reread if you guys are wanting to focus on rereads. This could be a classic, so maybe you're wanting to get more into reading classics. So any interpretation of the word old works for me. Paperback edition, this is one of the more specific prompts on this. And so you guys, once again, I'm not policing this. If you're focusing on your physical TBR, since this is next to the physical TBR corner, then you are choosing a book on your shelves that is a paperback edition. If you are maybe someone like me, I don't have a ton of physical collection books, and I'm sure I have some paperbacks that I could get to. But if you have a smaller physical collection and you don't have any paperbacks, if you read a book from the library that has a paperback edition, or if you are reading an audiobook, if it has a paperback edition, it counts. So it's kind of a free space because most books come in a paperback edition, but that's what that prompt means. And lastly, we have favorite author, which this is just picking out an author that you have absolutely loved and reading one of their books. So those are the prompts and how to participate in Bucket Listathon this year. I hope that you guys will join me on this adventure. I'm really excited to meet some end of year goals and probably go crazy not accomplishing some, and that's perfectly fine. Remember, there is a Discord down below that you can join the community, talk with us about your yearly goals, what you're going to accomplish during this readathon, or what you hope to accomplish during this readathon. And if you have any questions, you can ask them on the Discord, or you can ask them in the comments here. I would be happy to chat with you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a lovely evening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.